So I got a little morning thought while I wait for my car to warm up. A Christian god of war. Now, at first glance, it may seem like this statement makes no sense at all because don't, by definition, Christians believe in only one deity. Literally an all-encompassing deity, which himself embodies the personification of love and sacrifice. Well, if you dive deep enough into the realm of Christianity, what we find is that the Christian attitude in regards to what others would be deemed as pantheistic itself falls into a lot of ways in this categorization. Now, the Christian belief itself doesn't necessarily house within it a history of peace and love and harmony. I mean, we only have to look back to the Crusades to know this and to see that that is the case. Now, what is it that I mean by a Christian god of war? Well, in other religions which are pantheistic, which means that there are a multitude of gods representing different ideals and personification of ideals in Christianity, and especially in, Catholicism, we have the saints or the archangels even. And these people themselves are designated to being the patron over a certain aspect of life. Now, in a religion which grants one personage literally the entirety of housing all spiritual embodiments, why then do we find that we are giving description and definition in a sense of an ideal that has been reached by becoming the peak, the personification of this ideal itself? And that would be the archangels or the saints. So now, classifying the archangels or a lot of the saints as, in a sense, a deity isn't too far-fetched and is not too much of a stretch if we look at other religions, which a lot of Christians and those who study, religions, theologists, would actually classify as pantheistic. You have the main supreme deity, but then you have these alternate deities which kind of live in the same space as the supreme, but in a lot of ways they kind of vie for power. So in Christianity, we have the archangels and we have the patron saints, and these people in a lot of ways are worshipped. Literally, if you go to places of worship or religious and spiritual sites, you will see effigies which are carved in likeness and in representation of these personages, which, they may themselves say that they are not a deity, and by their own definition, they aren't. But in their action, they are saying that they are, because the act of worship is in the creation of these things. Literally the creation of the totems, the medallions, the statues, the writings. All of these things actually speak worship, even though they say to themselves that they do not worship. So, now that we have reasoned that even though specific peoples would like us to think that they don't worship more than one deity, we can see by their action, and the proof is in the pudding, in the fact that these things do exist. And if you go and you visit these sites, they are there, and they are in a multitude. It's not necessarily just occurring in one, regional location. It's literally global and worldwide. So who is the god of war in Christianity? Well, personally, I would think that the title would fall upon the Archangel Michael, the one who, is spoken of to have defeated Satan in a great battle, right? And if you think Christianity is, this embodiment of love and sacrifice and peace and harmony, then I think you're probably ignorant to a lot of the stuff which actually is contained within these religious texts. You know, we have the eternal war going on between heaven and hell, and the legions and the armies of Satan versus Heavenly Father. And to say that the ideals personified within a lot of these texts are of peace and of harmonious existence and tolerance with a lot of other things is to blatantly ignore what the words themselves say. I mean, if we look early on in the texts, we can see that outright God himself literally condemns and commits genocide pretty much on a large faction of peoples who warred against God. And, you know, we could picture in our minds that the Archangel Michael was on the forefront of combating this evil. But when evil itself is determined to be anything which does not believe the way that you believe, then who truly is the evil one?